Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy Sebastian Ryder, and you tapped into another episode of Cut Different TV. And today, we got somebody special. We got a key ingredient in the building, man. You might have heard her music spinning by DJ Drewski. You might have heard something going on, just that smooth vibe. Smooth like, hold on, you could tell them, what's the word? Smooth like what?
Like butter.
Ooh.
Smooth like butter. Yeah, everything tastes better with a little bit of butter in it.
That's a fact. And you hailing all the way from Tracy Towers, Bronx. Tell them a little bit about that, where you come from, and we're going to get into what makes you cut different, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what you got coming.
Let's do it. So I'm from Tracy Towers. Again, that's in the Bronx. I'm from a very tight community. So, like, it's not really, like, we don't have to leave our hood. Like, everything is very all together. Everybody knows everyone, you know what I mean? So we kind of just all... I don't even want to say kind of. We all grew up together. We all watched each other grow up, too. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I love about my hood. Like, we all know each other.
And right now, like, it's kind of like a full circle moment for Bronx hip-hop, because obviously the mecca of hip-hop is the Bronx. And then now you've got this, like, resurgence. And you hear all these different sounds and all these different vibes and all this sexy drill and all this dancing going on. What's it feel like to be a part of that resurgence? And what do you feel like you're bringing to the table on that side of things?
I love it. I feel like when I was working on music, I would always think about, like, when am I going to be, or how am I going to be a part of something? Like, I always knew, like, what I was making was different, but I kind of wanted to know, like, when would I get a part of it? You know what I mean? So finding my groove and finding, like, other artists that I fuck with and, like, just making fire music and, like, popping out to video shoots and, like, just even hearing everything that everybody's doing. I'm loving it because it's finally our time. Like, every other place has had it. Like, now we're back to, like, New York, the new New York too at that, because we got a lot of young sounds, like, coming from here. So I love it.
Absolutely. And growing up in New York, right, let alone the Bronx, right, New York, you've got so many different people fighting to get to the top. Like, you've got so many artists that have came, so many artists that have went all the way up to the top. It's like, where do you draw inspiration from, and how do you apply that to what you're doing? Because at the end of the day, you got to be different too, right?
You do have to be different. I feel like being different is definitely what's going to make you stand out. But I feel like one thing that I noticed is that, like, it's I want to say, like, I'm collecting my little wins. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna get there, but I'm falling in love more with the process right now and the experience of creating and, like, like, getting in the studio and not feeling nervous and, like, being able to write and sometimes, like, feel the beat so much that I'm coming off my head, like, you know what I mean? Or my performances getting better with how I sound and, like, being able to, like, turn up on the stage. I know that with what I'm doing, I'm going to keep growing more and more. So I'm not really worried about, like, when I'll get to the top, because I know it's going to get there. But for me, just more fall in love with the process of it.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you the key ingredient. I mean, I'm listening to your music. I'm listening to Doesn't Really Matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to Cuff You Down. You feel me? Like, let's talk about these records and even getting into the older catalog too. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? See, I'm going to get ahead of myself, everybody. Cut Different family, I'll get ahead of myself. Y'all know I will. Let's go to the beginning when you first picked up a mic and you started being like, damn, this music thing might be for me. How did you cultivate that sound that we all love and know today? Okay.
Well, I first started out in, like, this, like, janky basement. One of my mom's friends was like, he has a studio in his basement. We can go down there. And I don't want to say janky because it was working, but I feel like he wasn't down there in a long time. But, like, they believed in what I was doing. And I went there and I recorded. And I didn't really feel, like, confident. But, that whole time I was making songs in my room and stuff. And, like, I would sing all the time, but, like, didn't know where to go or who was going to listen. Like, you know what I mean? So my mom was very, involved. Like, I would just write songs, go into the living room, Mom, I got a song today. And I'll play it off my phone and sing. She's like, we gotta go to the studio. So that was one of my first experiences. And then I was like, I gotta really experience this. And I booked the studio. Esquire Studio is like, I want to say 20 minutes away from my crib. And I would go there like every weekend. Go there, make a new song, and just continue to get better. And one of my first songs that I ever came out with was Sweeter Girl. It was like a cover for Sweeter Man, made by Drake and Ram Riddle.
Yeah.
I always felt like that was a smooth song. And I think I already knew, not even I think, I knew like the type of songs that I wanted to make. I wanted to be like very smooth and like airy. And that song is like airy song. That song makes you feel good. I wanted to make it from a woman's perspective though, which is why I called it Sweeter Girl. Like, you know what I mean? So that was my first song though.
That's a vibe. And so kind of transitioning in that timeline between Sweeter Girl and Doesn't Really Matter and Cuff You Down, it's like there's been a lot of music to come out. There's been a lot of hours. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into cultivating this sound, building a team, leveraging your community to get out there and building that fan base. So tell me a little bit about that process and that moment where you were like, all right, like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm here to do for real.
So Sweeter Girl put me in that pocket. I was like, okay, I can really make something fire. And then I got in my bag with Frozen. That was like my first original song. That wasn't a cover. That I was scrolling on YouTube. Like, that's when I was really like looking for beats every day in the studio every weekend. And I'm like, what's going to be my song? And I came across the beat for Frozen and I was like, I love this. And then I found a videographer. And I had the idea of what I wanted the video to look like. That's one of the biggest things about me. I care about visuals so much because I grew up on that. I grew up watching music videos all day. People in the videos, looking fly, all up on the screen. Like, that's who I wanted to be. Like, you know what I mean? Even if I wasn't doing music, I always wanted to be that fly girl because that's who I am, like, you know what I mean? So I would just kind of sit and watch those videos being enamored. So, like, when it comes to me now and when I'm creating, I want to make sure that the videos are clear, are they're fire. They have, like, you can watch a bunch of videos, but you'll watch my video and you'll be like, nah, I want to run that back. I want to be like her, So that's how I used to... when I used to watch music videos, that's how I used to feel.
And you feel like leaning into that, like establishing your brand in a way of this kind of like airy, silky smooth, fly girl kind of personality allowed you to kind of ride that wave to get to where you are. Because you had the sound on Sweeter Girl. But it's just like, how do I find, all right, what beats am I going to get into now? What producers am I going to work with? And I think, would you say that these days, I got a question for you. Would you say that the brand and the persona outweighs the music itself, or do you think that the music is going to always outweigh regardless of how the artist is?
The music is always going to outweigh because that's what we're here for. We're here to listen to the music. So I feel like we should never get sidetracked. Like, you feel me? Like, your music got to be fire. You got to care just as much about the music. Also, like, with your persona too. There's some people that their music is fire, but you just don't know who or what they're even like. And that's there's nothing wrong with that either. I feel like with me though, I want people to know both. I want people to know the music, and I want people to get a taste of like me. Get to, when they're watching these videos, they'll be like, okay, I can sense a vibe from her.
Yeah, and you want people to like be like, oh, like, I want to be friends with her.
Yeah, we can be friends. Yeah, I definitely want people to watch videos and be like, okay, I relate to her, and she's real. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to kind of like sell something or be fake. It's no need to, because this is actually just who I am. Yeah, so it comes easy.
I respect that. And so it doesn't really matter. That was a big record for you, right?
It was my biggest record.
Your biggest record, and DJ Drewski spinning it. And what was it like to be on the radio? Like, you talk about your moms a lot and being huge in the beginning and getting you in the stew and being that first person. What was her reaction when she heard you on the radio? Like, yo, and on one of the biggest stations in New York at that. Like, walk me through that.
So I was in the studio that day. I was with my my engineer, who's also an artist too. Shout out to Gotti B, but his gram is Broadway Boo. At this time, we were connecting with Kanai. Her name is DJ Kanai, but she go by Kanai. Dead in the Middle. We were getting really cool, and she really just loved the record. We all I still love, doesn't really matter. And we were just talking about getting out on the radio, and we was in the studio, we was recording, and we got that call like, yo, it might go up there. And he didn't tell me. I feel like if he would have told me, I probably wouldn't have been able to finish the other songs that I was doing in there. So like I just see him pacing back and forth. I'm not paying it no mind. I'm just like still recording. I come out, yo, you like that? You like that? He's like, yo, you might be going on the radio tonight. I might. How do you just drop that type of bomb on me? Immediately, I call my mom up. Mom, I might be going on the radio tonight. You might. I'm like, yeah, I might be going on the radio tonight. She's like in her living room trying to like, who do we send this to? Because we didn't want to send it to nobody, and it's like everybody listens and nobody, like, she's not on the radio. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was just like, no, don't send it to anybody. I'm also very like, I don't know, very like sensitive about my shit anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, don't tell nobody yet. And I went back in, finished like 2 more songs. Because we still had this time that we paid for, right? And by this time, it was like around that time where Juicy started spinning, and our studio time was over. We both downloaded the radio app, and we had it to our phones, our ears, like this. We got into separate Ubers, because he doesn't live by my way. But we're texting each other in the car, and I get tight because my Uber driver, the radio is not working. Out of all the times I'm in the Uber, the radio is not working. So I'm just playing it. I have it to my ear. Then I hear, when I get in my bag, I literally lost it. Like, I lost it. I started crying immediately. My mom texted me. I felt like chills in my body because it went back to the girl that was making music in her room. Mm-hmm. And like, Mom, I made another song today, but I don't know if it's good. You know what I mean? Just constantly feeling like the music you're making is not good and you don't put it out. And that was one of the songs that I was like, I was battling with, like, I know this is good, but like, is it radio good? And it was radio good. So yeah.
Damn. Mm-hmm. That's fire. Y'all better be inspired by this. And we got some more questions for you, but go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. Turn them notifications on. Go ahead and join the Cut Different family, man. Leave some comments, your favorite parts of the interview. You know what I'm saying? If you're not subscribed by now, man, I don't know if you're not inspired by what she's talking about, y'all just keep it pushing at this point.
Y'all better go ahead and subscribe. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Real talk. And follow on Instagram too at Cut Different TV, and go ahead and follow Butta too.
Follow me, Butta.nyc. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into it, man. So, so you riding this wave of momentum. We met for the first time recently at SOB's for Connie Diamond's showcase. She brought everybody out. She brought the whole Bronx out. Mm-hmm. My business partner, Vic, is from Gun Hill, and he's like pointing everybody out to me like, yo, from the X. I'm like, oh shit, I'm from North Carolina. But walk me through that experience being there. I know you've done a bunch of shows and stuff, but what did that feel like for you, for Connie to tap you on the shoulder like that?
Well, shout out to Diz, because we performed Respect My Fly, which is a record that should be dropping, soon. And I love that record. That's like a record that just gets you, another record that is like something that I live, like, you know what I mean? And that record just really gets you in your bag and gets you, hype. So I was on the stage doing that, and I wouldn't say nervous, but more so like, this is fire. Like, there's a lot of different artists here, from drill to, R&B to, it was just a mix of everybody here. And I was just so happy to be a part of it and performing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's different to be on the stage while you're doing that. So I was excited to do that.
And what was it like to be up there with Dizzy?
That's my brother. So it was like, it was so fun. It didn't even feel like we was performing. It feels like we was talking, popping shit back and forth to each other, because that's what we do when we're in person. Like, yeah, you fly, nigga, you fly too.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's
So
the vibe.
it just felt like, you know, a conversation for real. But yeah, like that was fun. That was fire. And I love when everybody gets crazy on the stage. Like, so.
Yeah, and she says she was nervous, everybody, but she absolutely bodied that shit. So I don't know. The nerve shit, man, everybody says the nerves, but it's like, all right, at the end of the day, you either a star or you not. You either the key ingredient or you not.
You either let that moment break you or make you. So I definitely, like, because he does a thing and he's like, I know when he's about to, like, say the record for me to come on the stage, and I was like, I got the goosebumps, but I'm like, let's go.
Let's get it.
Immediately, let's go.
Yeah, it's like jumping in a cold pool, like.
Time to eat up.
Exactly. I feel like your sound would go really well on a Cash Cobain beat.
I feel like that too.
Talk about what's going on, man. We got something with Cash. Like I heard you was talking to Cash about something.
I fuck with Cash. You know, who doesn't? You feel me? I love what he's doing, his movement. I think he's talented as shit. I would love to do a song, hop on a record with him for sure. I feel like. Yeah, for sure. But I definitely feel like that's gonna happen when it happens. But there's a lot of beats. Like, I love listening to beats, and there was a song that he did with Yachty, and it's called "Pimpin' Ain't Easy," and I thought that was so hard. I did something to that in the studio. I might, let people hear that or whatever. But I felt like every time I hear like a fire song, I think about it. Like, okay, let me do it from a woman's perspective. Even though, like, I like women too, so it's like kind of the best of both worlds. Like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I can swag it out too.
I feel that. You definitely be swagging it out. And speaking of swagging it out, man, speaking of being the key ingredient, it's about time we get a project from Butta. And I've heard some rumblings. I was talking to GQ. And it sounds like you got a project on the way.
Yeah, I got something cooking up.
So we're going to talk about Cuff You Down. And then we're going to get into this project. I want to know what's going into it. How do you transition from making singles and doing covers and everything to making that decision in your mind? You know what? It's time to give them a full body of work. So let's get into Cuff You Down first, and then let's talk about the project.
Okay. Well, you want me to really talk about how Cuff You Down started?
Let's talk about that.
Well, I love Lil Wayne. I love Lil Wayne a lot, and there's a couple of songs that, like, that I used to just listen to growing up, and "Cuff You Down" was one of them. Also, "Every Girl in the World." That's a song that just gets me in my
That's the
back.
anthem.
That's the anthem.
That and Bedrock.
Ooh,
what? Middle school dance vibes.
You talking that? Yeah. But yeah, "Cuff You Down" was just like I'm hearing it. I'm playing it, and I'm like. I was just listening to it one day. A lot of my ideas come from when I'm in my room, in my zone. That's like where I'm able to just like see things, I feel like. And I'm listening to Cuff You Down, and I'm like, yo, I want to do something to this. And I go in the studio. Everybody's always with what I do in the studio. My man's Gotti was like, let's do it. Like, that's what he says every time, let's do it. And I went in there. He's like, this is fire. This is fire. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. This sounds like summer. I like making feel-good music, swaggy music, like
airy music.
Yeah.
That's a vibe. I like that. So it was just a vibe. That's what it sounds like.
It was just a vibe.
The layers of that record, like, you've got obviously your main vocals, and then the way that you blend in the ad-libs, and then you pop in the fly shit in the verses, and then you still, keeping it seductive and sexy with the Cuff You Down, like, I'm not gonna let you slip away type vibes. Like, you gotta be talking about somebody.
Sometimes, like, man. I do talk about a lot of my situations, but I don't like get so deep in, you know what I mean? But like, I feel like that's something that song itself I can relate to, like, wanting to cuff somebody down, somebody wanting to cuff me down, and I think it's summer. Nobody wants to be cuffed down anyway. You feel me? But like, it's just the vibe of it though. Like, when I find you, I'll never
I'll
let
cuff you
slip
down
away.
for the day at this day party.
I'll cuff you down. You know
You know what
I
I'm
mean?
saying? We could dance, we could vibe. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, I feel you. I get it, and that's turn. And I like that you mentioned you speak from a female perspective, but you also are, like you said, you be rapping for the fellas too a little bit. Because I could hear some bars in there. I'm like, well, shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm popping my fly shit too. You feel me?
You can say that too.
So I think you know, being outside and hearing that record is kind of like, all right, bet, like I could vibe with this, hear it out like a day party in the club, you know, like with the, on a rooftop vibing.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see it there. I see it when you're driving home alone in your home alone, and you're thinking about somebody or just wanting to listen to it. Like, I feel like it's just a good thing, a good song to have in the playlist. Like, you know,
the key ingredient in your playlist.
Key ingredient in your playlist.
Definitely.
Like what you did there.
So Cuff You Down spinning right now. So let's talk about this project. The world wants to know. You don't got a title yet. I'm not gonna ask you for a title on Cut Different TV. But let's talk about that transition from putting out singles to deciding, all right, I'm going to put together a body of work. Tell me what goes into that.
Well, I definitely just want the listener to understand, like, she does not just do this one sound. And I feel like that is the biggest part about making a project. I want people to know that I can do this, that, and that too. You get what I'm saying? It's not, the project isn't all over the place. All of the sounds very well mesh with each other, but it shows that I can get in both bags. I can get in that fly bag, that happy bag, that feel good bag, and then I can also talk my shit. I can also make you remember some girl that broke your heart 3 years ago that you thought you got over, and then you hear that song again, and you're like, nah, like she,
you get PTSD.
Yeah, she did some grimy shit to me. You know what I mean? Or another thing that I'm trying to do is get very vulnerable. I feel like getting vulnerable in songs was something that I wasn't doing in the beginning, but definitely making more music that, you know, gets away from the material and the flower shit, and just really talking about like other real life shit that we go through, you know? So
I like that. Project on the way, man.
Yeah, just developing as an artist, for real. I want people to hear all sides.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I mean, look, we're extremely blessed to have you on. And man, before we let you go, Butta, we ask everybody, big or small, short or tall, what makes you cut different, Butta?
I just feel like I'm a Martian, like I'm an alien. I'm different. Like, you know, you can't put me in a box. You can't put a label on me. I am who I am, and I show up as that in every way, in a video, on a song, in a person. So I feel like that's what makes me cut different on me.
And she got that aura too, ladies and gentlemen.
That aura, it comes in many different colors. You probably don't see it right now. Add some flames.
Yeah.
Nah, but it comes in a lot of different colors, for sure.
That's a vibe. That's a vibe. Talk about this fit a little bit.
Oh shit. We doing some denim tears, breads. Human made. Got the G-Shock on.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I'm running out of time.
Yeah, she spat. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. The aura's vibing. She came in here. She vibed out. Where can they find you at, Butta? And what can they expect from you moving forward?
Okay, y'all can find me on Twitter. I'm always popping my shit on Twitter.
Ooh.
You can find me ButtaNYC _, and then on Instagram you can find me Butta.NYC.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I mean, I don't want this to be understated how much of a blessing it is to have Butta on Cut Different right now. There's not a lot of interviews of her, you know what I'm saying? She cannot be put in a box. She's unique. She's a Martian, and you know, just like UFO sightings, it's really hard to catch them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're extremely blessed to have you on here. You're doing your thing. The project coming out. The music is bubbling. You feel me? So thank you for joining us on Cut Different today.
For having me.
And we're going to have you back on again.
For sure.
Definitely.
We're going to go crazy.
Yeah. It's all love, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Cut Different TV.
Bye, guys.
We out.
Cut.